Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Speak Up Erica podcast. I'm your host, Erica, and this podcast talks about things that we're scared to talk about but should. Today, I have Maii and Mango. Hi.
Hi
Hi
everyone.
everyone.
Yay. How are you two doing today?
I'm
Good.
good. I'm good.
Good. It's
Good.
nice out today, so that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Is it? Is it like 20 today? 20 something?
15.
Okay, that's
Uh,
not bad.
It's
Yeah,
so
still
it's
pretty good.
yeah. I'm gonna be inside all day though. Still anyway.
I know, right? So sad.
What about you, Erika?
How am I
How are
doing?
you? Yeah, how are
I'm
you doing?
okay. I'm a little overwhelmed, but I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
It's just adulting, I guess.
Right? Yeah. I was talking to my friend and we're like, wow, is this what being an adult is like? Like just
Mm.
stress.
Being like constant overwhelming things.
Right? That's okay. um so we're starting a new series and it's called Women in Gaming. We're going to be chatting about stigmas and stereotypes and just women in the gaming industry and how that's like. So, Mai, if you wanted to start and introduce yourself,
Sure.
and then Mango. Yeah.
Hi everyone. I'm Mai. I've been a gamer since I was really young. I remember playing in my brother's room at like 5:30 at 4 years old, and he would have to like shoo me off every time. Um, so being like a female gamer, like growing up, it wasn't really in my mind that there was a stereotype because gaming has always been part of my life. It's never been like something new to me.
Mhm.
But as I grew older, like in my 20s, that's when I like my eyes were open to the stigma and like the actual discrimination that people get. So I recently just joined this really awesome community called Fem Gaming. I'm currently their marketing coordinator. Um, Most of my job is to like engage people on our Discord and on socials. It's really nice to be part of that community. Providing a safe place for women, and like our Discord is such a wholesome place. Everyone is just like, oh my god, hi, how's everyone doing? And basically our vision and our hope is to remove the stigma around women in gaming, and eventually have females join the male dominated professional gaming scene. So
Mhm. Thank you so much, Mai. We're gonna get more into it about the stigmas that if people don't like are not aware that there are stigmas out there. We're gonna discuss more about that as well in the series,
mhm.
and more about fem gaming. I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that later as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mango, would you like to say a little intro of yourself?
I think that I'm newer to like gaming than Mai is in terms of like really getting into it and like it becoming a hobby and a serious passion. I wouldn't maybe not passion, but a serious hobby, like something I've been doing purely for fun. Like everyone else, like I played Mario Kart, Wii Sports, like growing up. I never really had a console and like mini clip games, stuff like that. But I think part of what we'll discuss too, like in our podcast series, is like I didn't know any other girls that played games seriously. And so obviously, like I wasn't like I think I had an interest in it, but I didn't have anyone to play with, nor did I have a console or anything. So now that I'm older and like I have like some friends who are mostly men, who play games, I play with them, and I have like the means to like buy games and like kind of go bit more into that interest. So and like May, like or sorry, I keep calling you May, but it's Mai, right? I'm so
It's
sorry.
yeah, it's okay.
Just like Mai, I think now that I'm older and I'm getting more immersed in the communities, I'm more aware of like the stigma, the stereotypes, some of like the struggles that are like gender based for women in gaming. Because of course, like it's the a lot of these things apply to any industry, but I think it's a lot more prevalent in gaming because it's so male dominated, and it's because it's like games are marketed towards young boys, so they're the ones that are predominantly in that space, and like women kind of find themselves there purely off interest. Like it's not necessarily that they've been marketed to; they just have an interest in that kind of stuff. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Mango. Thanks for your introduction. That's like really important. I guess like I'm the more amateur one in this trio right now, but I've been gaming, well, I don't know, I wouldn't say, like, serious gamer or anything, just, like, all, like, leisure and for fun, but since I was growing up and more of the Nintendo side, I guess, like, I used to have the Wii U? I think it was called the Wii U, right? Where you had, like,
The stick?
the stick and the fit pad, and you would do, like, aerobics and stuff on there.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got it? The Wii
Yeah,
Oh my
Fit?
we
god.
fit,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Wii Fit, and just, like, playing Rock Band and stuff growing up, when, like, my friends had Xboxes or PS. So that's, like, the type of gaming I would be playing, but then I also had the Nintendo DS, and I would play Super Mario, like, all the time. And then growing up now, and I have courses that talk about esports and gaming, and I never realized anything about that, and like, what we're going to be talking about now. I never realized about the stigmas or discriminations or anything. And then Mango invited me to play League with her, so that was like kind of my first time playing, I guess, in like those male dominated games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny that she says invited. I basically begged her and then forced her. I was like, "Erica,
Yo, I
make."
was so excited.
I
Oh
was
my
like, "Make
gosh,
an account right
Mango.
now."
I
Yeah.
just want to say League is probably the worst game to introduce someone to
Yeah.
if they're starting gaming for the first time,
Yeah.
because League is like one of the most competitive, I guess, like
And toxic. But
and
that's how I
toxic
got
environments.
yeah, that's where
Yeah.
I got started though. Like, so I got
Wow.
started. So that's why, like, the shock factor of like getting addicted to a game that's so toxic, like it opens your eyes a lot
It
about the
really
community.
it really does, cuz so sorry, okay, sidetrack.
Yeah,
Like
It's okay.
one of the first things that my friends told me when I was playing League was you just have to mute everyone. And to
yeah,
me I didn't really understand that. It was like people are not going to be that toxic, but then they do start getting that toxic.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
And then you realize like well, that's literally the first time I've ever had to thought of maybe I should actually mute people because it kind of messes with your mental um a little bit or a lot. It depends on the person, right?
Mhm.
So for a time I had people not muted because I thought that it would like it would make me a better person, or like it would build character is what I
Thicker
always said.
skin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But at the same time it's like it doesn't really. Like it
yeah,
just shows you how people are, and you just have to move around it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
League is definitely one of the most toxic games I've ever played. Like it's a whole other level.
I'm sorry, Erica.
No, I honestly, like, I really enjoyed it, and I was super excited to play because I knew like a handful of my friends were playing the game as well.
Mhm.
So it's like it's for me, I love to learn. So I'm just like, whoa, what's this and
Yeah,
what's that? And there's so many different what's it called?
yeah.
What's it?
Well,
Champs?
champions.
Champions. Yeah,
Champions.
there's
Yeah,
so many different champions like to learn, right? And finding your own one too.
yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I
I
had a
was
lot of one-on-ones. I think me
yeah.
and you, Mango, we were having one-on-one learning time.
Yeah, because I was, like, so desperate at that point, like, I really enjoyed the game, and it was one of the only games that I was starting to understand, and,
Yeah.
like, I felt it was, like, the only people that I was playing with were boys, and some of them were, like, my brother's friends, and I just wanted to, like, have to play with a girl, not like, because it's, like, if they just understand you better, like, I think that girls, like, when I play with them, it's a lot more fun, usually they're a lot less
It's like
like,
a comfort thing
yeah.
almost. Yeah.
It's not that they're less competitive, it's just, like, they won't get mad if you make a mistake. Like, you can talk about girl stuff. I don't wanna hear, like, men be, like, disgusting all the time when I'm playing
Mhm.
games, right? And it's because it became such a huge part of my life, I wanted to share it with my close friends, but it's, like, so hard to get girls to join into gaming, you know?
Mhm. Like if
Interesting. Yeah.
you don't have it inherently in you that you were like a gamer as a child, it's so
True.
difficult to get into games such as League, like
Yeah,
all of these established games that have been out for like 5 years, right?
yeah, it takes
Mhm.
dedication and having no social life outside of just playing the game. Like, that's the only way you
That's
learn is
lit.
to play.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's what like that's most games though. Like the only way you learn is you just have to keep playing.
Exactly.
And then to go on like the toxicity side of it is that if you're new and then somehow you get into a lobby with like all of these toxic people, then that just sucks for you because you're you're not going to have a good day, like
Yeah,
you make a mistake and people just shit on you. Yeah, so it builds character, but at the same time, like, do you really have to be that toxic?
yeah,
Like everyone's noob at some point. Everyone starts off like as a new player. So why should league or any other game be any different. Like, everyone starts from scratch somewhere. And some people are
Exactly.
just super like, "Oh my god, you suck." Like, "Come on, I
Yeah.
died once."
Yeah, I was gonna say that it's awesome because like Mango, you were saying it's hard to find communities or people to connect with who are also female, but then
Mhm,
you like work in a space that provides those communities and like helps other people feel connected or other women feel connected, right? But I
mhm,
guess like if people are struggling to find it, it's like how do you try to find other women in the gaming industry and like how can like Mango for yourself find those communities, right? I
Yeah.
think that's like the disconnect maybe.
mhm.
Yeah.
And another thing too that like for me, most of like so my brother plays with his high school friends, right? So he plays with people that he knows in real life, and they don't just play League; they play a
True.
bunch of different games. And I
Right.
think there's like a really something special about that, like when you can play with people that you know in real life because you have that like rapport with them already. They're your friends, and like it's
Mhm.
a shared experience. You have that shared hobby. But sometimes I feel very isolated because like now the majority of the people that I play games with are people I don't know in real life. And so some of them like turn out to be crazy. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, block, like, So it's like, and I would
Yeah.
love to like because I spend so much time doing it, I would love for my real women friends in real life to like be part of that with me.
Cuff, cuff,
Right.
Erica.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know. We're gonna
just some,
be we're streaming League one day.
yeah.
Oh god.
So that's like why like it's just you can find online communities. Like I was so desperate. I went on Reddit Girl Gaming and I like started adding everyone. I was like League player looking for women to play with, and I found some girls, but then they were all way better than me. Different time zones. Like I didn't know them. I felt awkward like asking, "Do you want to play right now?" Like, am I bothering them? Do they like It's
Mhm.
just like at least with Erica, if I know like Erica would not lie to me. She'd be like, "Okay, I'll play with
Yeah.
you."
Always down to play. It's just like finding the time to play too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but we usually find sometimes we
Sometimes.
find
Yeah,
like
for
those little
sure.
pockets in our schedule to play, which is
Yeah.
it's so much fun and it's like okay, one more game.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no, it's never just one more game. It's never
Yeah.
just one more game, guys.
These bags, they came. They're there for a reason.
This
It
these
says one more game.
bags these bags got me from bronze to silver, okay? So
Yeah.
I love them.
I'm praying that happens to me.
That's so funny.
So Mango, to what you were saying, that it's definitely better to play with friends that you know from real life, and I think that's like super important. Um because you do have that friendship like already established, like you know that if you're in game, like, well, most of the time they're not going to be toxic, right? So if you're trying to create your own community, it's always better to start it off with like people you know from real life, and then you build it from there.
Mhm.
Last year when COVID started, one of the friends that I've been playing video games with since like 2015, um, he reached out to me because they started playing League, and I was like, oh my god, welcome.
Yeah.
And we created a Discord, and at first it was literally just three of us. Now there's like 60 of us, and it's like people that, yeah, there's
Yeah.
like people that we know from each other, people that we've met like online.
Mhm.
Um and it's always nice to kind of like build that community and that group of friends that you always just want to play with.
Mhm.
Mm,
So
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I have something similar, but it's still mostly men. Honestly, there's like a
Yeah.
couple
Same here,
girls.
Well,
yeah.
queer.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of queer people too, but like
Yeah.
it's like they're queer men, so like we still like we listen to the same music and stuff like that. But like there's just I think that like what it's still nice to have girls around. And like I'm a girl's
Yeah.
girl. Like, I'm not a girly girl, but I like having women around because like they're just relatable. I like what they have to say. We have similar interests, like
Mhm.
we could talk about the same things. And like sometimes like I'll be quiet in a chat because I literally cannot relate to what they're talking about outside of the game, right? Like
Mhm.
that's
Exactly,
the one
yeah.
thing we have in common, and we listen to KDA.
I
Yeah,
love KDA.
for those who don't know, like if you're listening and you don't, KDA is like so League of Legends, they released their own music based like so the characters in the game, they made like a little K-pop group called KDA. And then KDA in League of Legends, it stands for kills, deaths, and assists. And that's like how your score is like shown on the game. It's like a metric. So that's why they named the K-pop group KDA. And like they release a lot of K-pop songs, and like I don't even really like K-pop like that, but they're bangers. So
Let me make a confession, guys. Back in 2018, when I didn't play League and my life was great, my boyfriend showed me the music video for Pop Stars,
yeah,
and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so good. I think I'm gonna start playing League." And then I
yeah.
never like
That's
literally
how
that
they get
song.
you.
That's literally how they get you. Like because of that song, I started playing League because I thought, wow, this is actually like really cool. Like the animation was amazing. The characters
Yeah.
were super cute. Like who wouldn't want
Yeah.
to be cute in a video game? Come on.
Like
Yeah.
Riot Games, the owners of League of Legends, they have a lot of money. Like they made $1 billion, like I think over $1 billion last year during a pandemic off of the game, and the game is
Makes
free.
sense. Yeah.
So like, so it just shows you how much money they're
it's
making.
it's free.
Yeah, I mean it's a free game, but like you can pay for
Yeah.
skins and stuff like that to like
Yeah.
all you really pay for in the game, for those who don't know, is like you can pay to like upgrade how your character looks in the game, and it's called like a skin. So you can buy like, for instance, my character, I have like a barbecue skin where she looks like she's at a barbecue, and
Is
like
this Leona?
yeah,
Oh
Leona.
my god. I have the
Um,
Baker Pantheon skin
yeah.
and
So
the pie is his shield. It's
yeah,
so funny.
I didn't pay for any of my skins though. Just pay
Oh,
that. But
I'm just gonna step out of this conversation.
I refuse to give Riot money. So
Going back though, could I feel that some people who are listening may not know exactly what league is, and I know we've been saying it a lot. So
yeah,
could one of you kind of explain a little bit, and also yeah, and just explain a little bit about it.
sure. I don't mind going first,
Yeah.
but so League is a MOBA game. That stands for Multiplayer Online Battle Arena. It's probably the biggest MOBA game in the world. Like it's played globally on different servers. So depending on what region, if you're in North America, you play with North American people on the North American servers. If you're in Europe, you play depending on what part of Europe and you're in, you'll play on those servers. And then they have like Korean, Chinese servers. Um, and so that's kind of what the game is. There's other kinds of mobile games, but this is like the most popular because I think it's like the Riot has just done a really good job of making it a user friendly game, and something that like even though it's hard, it's not like there's other mobile games like Dota. Like they don't look as good. Like they're not as aesthetically fun to look
Mm-hmm.
at.
Mm-hmm.
They're older games too. There's also like Smite, but they're nowhere near as popular as League. League is definitely the most popular. And so basically the game is like capture the flag. Um you have two teams of five, and so it's called multiplayer online battle arena because you're playing with other people. So you can play like when you're training, you can play against bots, but the game is like you have five teams, five players on one team. It's all a person that's a real person, and then on the other team. And so there's a red side and a blue side, and the goal of the game is to get to the enemy side and destroy their nexus. Um, Now in the game, there's like over 150 champions that you can play that all have different abilities. They have different classifications. Like some of them are marksmen, which means that they like usually like they're like shooters. They have arrows, like they're like long distance. They have like tanks who take a lot of damage, but they don't necessarily deal a lot of damage. I like playing tanks. They have like, and so yeah, like, there's different kinds of champions, and then for five of them, there's five different roles in the game, and you pick a role. So you can be there's three lanes. You can play in a lane, and then one of the lanes has two people, and you can also play in the jungle. So it's you can see it's a very complicated game, and if you're new, that probably went over your head.
Yeah.
But what makes the game so addictive is that it's like at the core, it's a decision making game, in my opinion, a strategy game. Like you're making a lot of different decisions, and what makes it like really addicting is that they Riot has made it like so satisfying to win, to kill, to like progress in the game. I don't know what they do. Like there's probably like behavioral science involved, but it's like really satisfying when you win because it's like you feel like, oh, I'm smart. I made good decisions. Like when you make a good play in League, it literally feels like you're on top of the world. um and then you invest a lot of time into the game, so games typically go from like 30 to 45 minutes. Sometimes it's a long, so when you invest so much time, if you lose, you're like, nah, run it back. I need to win. Like,
Yeah.
I did not
Yeah.
waste all this time to lose, right? So, and then there's most games have like a rank system. Um, the rank system. I'm sorry for talking so much. I'll try to wrap it up. My bad.
No, no
Um,
need
Okay.
to be sorry.
yeah, but like so what makes League money is it's like the competitive aspect. They have like a rank system that you gain sort of points by winning, which is also what makes it addictive. And that like rank system is kind of the basis for the esports like competitive leagues for League of Legends, where people make a lot of money. Like they have sponsors. Like league players are making millions of dollars a year at that professional level.
Yeah.
Um, because
And they have
yeah,
huge sponsorships. Like they have
yeah,
BMW,
yeah,
Mercedes. Like
yeah,
it's a really big industry right now. Especially like I guess since the pandemic started, everyone's like so into esports. Like
Mhm.
what else do you do or watch as a gamer stuck at
yeah,
home? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
yeah, for sure. And that's why it's like one of the biggest, and it's also like a game that at all corners of the world people play, right? Like for instance,
Yeah.
like there's some games that are like specific to North America that people like anime style games might be more popular in Japan, stuff like that. But League, everyone plays it, and like they have the characters kind of be different like ethnicities, races, cater to different audiences. They have characters that are more like girly, more masculine. Which and also like that doesn't mean that the character that you play represents anything about you because you know,
Hmm.
but
But
yeah,
it could also mean that the characters do represent like like what you like because
yeah,
um be- this is always something I always like talked about was that like whatever role you play in game is kind of like a reflection of who you are in real life almost,
mm,
but for example like I usually main ADC like marksman, so I like dealing a lot of damage, like I like my tanks going in and kind of like doing the damage for me until they're half health and I just kill them.
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, like the thing about league is that it's constantly changing. There's a patch every like 2 weeks, so you're not really like an expert at the game if that makes sense.
yeah,
Like there's always something changing. One week like this champ is good, the next week it's not.
yeah,
So
Oh.
and that's why league I think has such a loyal player base is
Mhm.
because like there's always something new to learn.
Nice. Yeah.
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 they
Man,
should
I
hire
wanna
us.
play. I wanna play right now.
Yeah, they should definitely hire us to market for them. We would
I
be
know,
like,
right?
Um,
So going back to League, like uh,
yeah.
the very first like League friend I actually made was a girl. Is a girl, and like we're still friends now, and like we still play and we still like text every day. But I've never really had like a guy friend that I've met through League. Like two things is because I don't really care much about meeting other guys,
Mhm.
but if I meet a girl like hey, what's up, and I think that's really cool. Like if you think about it, you don't really know if the girl you're playing with is or like if the person you're playing with is a girl or a guy. It's
mm,
always like a 50-50 chance because at the end of the day 46% of players are females, and
yeah.
we don't know that.
Mhm.
And it's always assumed that you're a guy. Like people are like, yeah, people always just naturally make the assumption that you're a man. Like even like when the way they're talking, like, yeah, man, like hey fellas, like when they're saying like what's up boys, like let's go, let's get a win, boys. Like it's never assumed that anyone in the game is gonna be any other gender but like a boy or man.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is pretty annoying. Like I mean for I guess like I don't know why I let it bother me so much, but it does. I'm like, I'm a girl, like why are you saying what's up, like let's go boys? I'm not a boy, like, you know.
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
It makes you feel invisible almost. Like
but to kind of like touch on that, Mango, like I'm not like shitting on like how you're feeling. I'm so
oh
sorry.
no, it's okay, shit on
But
it, it's
like
fine.
I personally say like hey boys as like boys as in like a collective kind of like term. It's
Yeah.
kind of like it's kind of like saying hey guys.
Mhm.
So whenever
Mm.
I say like hey boys or like hey ladies in the lobby, in Champ Select for example, like I'm not generalizing. I'm just kind of
Yeah.
like I'm
It's like
just
a
using a
term that you
term.
used.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
No, no.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear that. Oh, go ahead, Erica.
Oh, I was just gonna say that it goes back to just using inclusive language, and I don't think that that's as prevalent in gaming to be using inclusive languages, if that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
Yeah,
for me, I used to volunteer for the sexual education center, so we had like an extensive training of making sure to not use guys or uh gendered gendered terms and just using like all or everyone or hey yeah hey y'all or something, right? So I don't think that's as prevalent in the gaming industry if
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think it's like too like for instance like guys is something that in North American English is pretty
Mhm.
standard as like a gender inclusive thing, even though it has its inherent problems. But like when you say like let's go boys, like in real life, if you were gonna go and talk to a group of people and you said let's go boys and there was women there, people would be like, "What's wrong with you?" Right?
Yeah.
Not that they would say it would be odd. And I think that part of the problem is like like it's just like in gaming there's common phrases that people use and it kind of like you get into the habit of saying certain things like oh like jungle diff, which like there's like if anyone knows League, there's like different phrases that you use a lot in gaming and they're kind of like it kind of has its own jargon. And so
Mhm.
when the jargon becomes like you know it's gendered, it kind of like it feeds into the culture of it being really male dominated because it's like if we're not making space for women to be included in like our jargon, then we're just like in like we're subconsciously leaving them out. Like if it's just default to say what's up boys in a game, but it's not default in real life, it's for a reason. It's because the expectation now is that everyone in your lobby is a boy until proven otherwise, which is kind of like a problem, you know?
Mhm. Mhm. Um, I totally agree with what you're saying. Like, there is still that like air of like male dominance in gaming, especially League. Um, but personally, like when I'm in game, like I don't think if like my team is team of guys or a team of girls, because
Yeah,
at the end of the day, you don't really know unless like
yeah,
they want to be friends and then they tell you, hey, I'm a girl.
Mhm.
So like the friend that I made last year in League, I got super close to her because she's a girl.
Mhm.
Again, like necessarily, like if a random guy adds me, like I'm gonna ask him like, are you a guy or a girl? And if they say they're a guy, then I'm gonna be like, okay, well I have enough guy friends. I need more girlfriends, and then I'm gonna put my focus back onto like my girlfriend, if
Mm.
that like makes sense, because I have
Mhm.
enough guy friends. Like most of the people in my Discord are guys,
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's always so refreshing to see another female enjoying a male dominated game, as
Mhm.
we say.
yeah.
So
I think like I totally agree with you. My like in game I don't care as long as you're not running it down and inting. But it's basically inting means intentionally feeding for those of you who don't know. But as long as you're
And
not playing badly on purpose or just being horrible human, like I don't care what
yeah,
gender you are. But then
yeah.
it's kind of just like I think about it from this like I think Maya, you and I are kind of like a similar person. We're like I have pretty thick skin, and so when I go into these spaces, like stuff will piss me off, but I'm not gonna go cry about it. Like I'm still gonna play the
Yeah,
game. But
yeah.
like now I want to invite my friends to play the game, and it's like we need to make the space for every kind of woman. So some people are more sensitive. Some people
Mhm,
want spaces that like are where they're who they are. Their identity is like acknowledged as a valid thing, and it's not
Mhm.
constantly being challenged in the game. And it's like we have to think of it's like any space in the world. If we
Mhm.
make things with like small microaggressions and we make things like unsafe, a large part of the like of specific communities that are not going to want to be part of it. Like,
Mhm.
that's why Animal
yeah.
Crossing is so popular because
I
it's
fucking
obviously
love Animal Crossing. Oh my
I've
god.
marketed.
never actually played Animal
It's all
Crossing.
I
Don't
think
judge
about.
me.
It's like
No,
not
no
toxic.
judgment. Yeah.
No,
It's
no, like
it's
I
so
don't really like
fun.
anime. I like games
That's
where
fair.
like there's a stake. I need there to be like a win loss, fighting, aggression.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
It depends
Yeah.
on what kind of gamer you are too. Like if
yeah,
you're just
Yeah.
a variety gamer, that's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
But then the line gets super blurred when it comes to games like League of Legends, like
yeah,
Call of Duty. Like obviously the main thing is being competitive. Like you want to win, otherwise like why are you
yeah,
playing?
yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
Um the thing about games online, and playing with strangers is that at the end of the day, like they're just an anonymous person behind the monitor. So at the end of the day, you don't really know
Anonymous.
who you don't really know who they are,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I just got that. That's your
Yeah.
name.
yeah. Because yeah, if you're listening, my gaming name is Annie Anonymous, like
Yeah.
ANI capital N. Let's it together NONYMOS. So Annie Anonymous. I think it's fun. It was a fun name. It's like it was a way to be like, okay, this is obviously Annie is a typically like a woman name, like
Mhm.
like a name for like a female girl, whatever. And then the fact that it's anonymous, like I didn't want my name to be out there, so I
That
thought it
makes
was
Mhm.
sense. Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was clever.
What's your gaming name, Mai?
My gaming name is Haida, which
Yeah.
is the 100. If you guys know what
Yeah.
that show is,
I love the
Yeah,
I
100.
I miss Lexa. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert,
yeah,
I miss Lexa.
yeah.
Uh,
So
it's
when
done. I can't believe
I
the
know
show's over.
I never finished it
Me neither.
because
Oh,
it got super weird after they left Earth. So I'm
Yeah.
sorry if that's a
yeah.
spoiler.
Oh,
I finished the whole entire series because I had
mhm.
to. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm so sad that Lexa, sorry.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it's okay.
so Lexa was my favorite character. And around the time that that happened was when I got my PS4 like back in 2016. So I was like, oh my god, I love Lexa. I want to be her. So I use the
Yeah.
name Haida, and it's just kind of like for years that's been my name.
Yeah.
And it's super cool because it's like whenever like someone recognizes the name, it's like, oh, you watched the 100.
Nice.
Or someone starts calling me commander, and I feel all like, yeah,
Jeez.
call me
Yeah.
commander. But that's
That's so
pretty
funny.
cool.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
My gaming name is I don't really remember why I named my gaming name like this, but I use Cypress.
Yeah, I was there. You
Yeah.
just made it. You just chose a random name,
Yeah, I was like,
and you
"Yeah,
wanted,
Cypress, let's go."
and I know that you also wanted it to be like kind of coded that it was a woman's name as
I
well.
think so, yeah. But yeah, I guess so. I don't really even remember what like the thought process was because that's even my Animal Crossing name. I named my
Yeah,
Animal
yeah.
Crossing Cypress. So
I think
yeah,
once you make a name that you like, you kind of keep it consistent off like across all the games that you play.
true.
Because that's like
Yeah,
at some point that becomes your online identity. Like
Yeah,
Heyday
true.
is my name on League, it's my name on Overwatch, on Discord. So that's kind of like our alter ego per se,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
that's
in
exactly.
true.
the gaming world.
Yeah. What other games do you two play aside from? I know you kind of mentioned a bunch of them now, but if you wanted to like run by.
Um, like I play so the main other game I play is Apex Legends, but I'm not good at it. I'm like so horrible at it. I have 0 kills in the game. I think my like I play League a lot because I'm actively trying to climb and get better at it. So I don't really have time to play other games. But like I have smaller games like Don't Starve Together. I'm looking at my games right now. Like Super Super Meat Boy. Like I like Muse Dash. That's a good game I use to like de-stress. It's like not competitive at all. Um Stuff like that. Like I've tried playing like Fortnite, but the 6-year-olds
Oh,
kept clapping my cheeks. So I was like
the what?
the 6-year-olds. So these kids, the little
Oh,
kids are
six.
like my brother's friend, like because I would play with my brother's friends. It's
Uh-huh.
kind of sad. That's how desperate I was. And like my brother's friend's brother, like younger brother, was like 4 years old at the time, and I could hear him in the background, and he would be like, he's playing Fortnite, and like
Yeah.
I was just like, he's
The
4 years
kids,
old.
they love
You know,
Fortnite, man.
when I was four
Yeah.
years old, I was coming to this country with, and I didn't even probably didn't even know what a computer was. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It's so different. It's
yeah.
so
For
different now.
the very first game I played was Sims,
Oh
obviously.
yeah, Sims.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, like Roller Coaster
yeah,
Tycoon and like Diner Dash and
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah.
Oh my
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
god.
No,
Do
if we're
you
talking
guys
mobile
have
games, I
like
love Diner Dash.
do you
I
guys
love
have
that game.
nightmares about that Grim Reaper from Sims? Because I
Oh
still think
no,
Oh
about
my
that a
god. That's
lot.
so funny. I would
I
like
never
trap
played
my
Sims
sim. You never played Sims, Cheech?
because I don't like games where you're having real life or I don't like games that are simulations. I don't like. Why would I expect
Oh,
time doing fake stuff?
When you can
I
be doing real stuff.
I
Okay,
feel
that makes
that
sense.
like that's it kind of makes me feel better sometimes because like say for example Animal Crossing kind of mimics that and like
Yeah,
me paying off my debt in Animal Crossing like goals. Like, I
It's
feel
like,
like
yeah.
yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
I have no debt in real life, even
yeah,
though, like, yeah, I should pay off my debt in real life, but you know what I mean? Like, it makes me feel better about my life, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
if it's going well in the game.
I mean, the games I played is obviously like all the Wii Sports games, Mario and Sonic,
Yeah,
got the Olympic games, Mario Kart, those kind of things.
yeah,
But
Rock
then like
Band.
into yeah, Rock Band. In terms of computer games like that I'd play, I found that I like games where it's like you like have to repeat patterns over
Mm,
and then until and it just gets harder or like for instance like Muse Dash, like you're pressing like JF key and you're like you're moving your champion to like match what's happening on the screen, like the music. So games like that where it's like it gets harder over time and you're trying to beat your score. So it's like there's
mm,
an objective. That's the kind of those are the kind of games that I like.
Mhm.
yeah. How
So
about
for
yourself? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, so
sorry,
for
yeah.
it's okay. So for me, like ever since I was younger, I know I said the first game I played was Sims, but I actually got into Warcraft when I was like 5
Oh.
or 6, like like the old one, like Reign of Chaos, I think it's called. I noticed that I really enjoy games without like an end game, if that makes sense. You know,
Mm,
like Super Mario, like you finish it, you save Peach, and then that's the end of it, right? But for games such as like Warcraft or like League of Legends or like Destiny is another game that I really enjoy. Is that there's a story behind it, and I've always loved stories. And some of the games like I actually enjoy because of the story. I have the tendency of like romanticizing the stories behind the video games.
oh,
So
yeah.
I know, um, but it's nice to kind of like I guess put yourself in that story, if that makes sense. Like it's sort of a simulation, but at the same time like you're writing a story as you go, and I always thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. That's a cool way to look at it too, because I think everyone who plays games, they have different perspectives of what their relationship with gaming is like, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, that's super cool. I did have a question that popped up. What defines as someone to be a gamer? Yeah.
Yeah, I get like what
What
or
defines someone to be classified as a gamer?
or like define gamer in your own
Define,
words.
yeah, define gamer, the term
Yeah.
gamer. Yeah.
I think the term is so loose. Like anyone can be a gamer these days. I think I would call people who don't play games like League or like Destiny or like all of those like addicting games like casual gamers. So if you're only playing like Animal Crossing, and other games like that, then I would call you like a casual gamer, if that kind of
Ah,
like makes sense. Because for games like League and like Call of Duty, like games with ranked systems, it gets a little bit more serious. Like you actually have to spend a lot of time like trying to progress, right? So anyone can be a gamer. If
mhm,
Yeah.
you
mhm,
play one game, you're a gamer. That's it. Like
Yeah.
I don't think there's a hierarchy in terms of like if you're a real gamer or not.
mhm,
Anyone can be a gamer.
mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely. And like you said, Maya, like um it gaming requires a lot of time. And I think that it's like if you think that the game that you play makes you a gamer, then you're a gamer. Like you don't need anyone else to validate that for you. But I do agree that like there is like a when you think of a gamer, you're thinking about someone that like maybe has a gaming mouse, plays with the keyboard, knows like the gaming jargon, who dedicates a good chunk of their life to gaming. Like it's a serious hobby. Like gamers
Mhm.
like I don't play games every day because I need to take I mean I have to take mental health breaks and I need to watch Netflix. But I would say that I play like after work for like 3 times in the week. I'll play games for a good amount of time. Um and it's interesting because it's like I think that's like a very common thing for a lot of men. Like I mean the men that I know in my life, like my brother, not my dad, but like younger men, they a game they just play games all the time, and so like this whole like the term gamer is kind of strange sometimes to me because that's just like there's people that just play games all the time, but would you consider them a gamer? Like if you're playing games every day, like do you when you look at a guy, you're thinking, "Oh, is this a gamer?" I feel like sometimes it's something that's like specific. I don't know where I'm going with this, but specific to someone that's like has a like it's like almost passionate about it, has made it a designated hobby. Like they're investing in a better PC, they're investing in equipment, stuff like that.
Mhm. Cuz gaming is actually pretty expensive. Like
Yeah,
if you really want to like play like optimally, like you have to invest like thousands of dollars in your setup, and that's not
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's no joke, right? Like
yeah,
even a PlayStation is already what, 500, $600, so you're
yeah,
investing a lot.
Mhm.
yeah,
So if you had ever invested like 500, $600 on like a console or a laptop, then I would consider you a gamer, you know, like
yeah,
Yeah.
nobody in their right mind otherwise
yeah.
would
Would
'Cause
invest
you
that much.
I know,
Oh,
Erica,
go
because
for it, G.
you gotta switch. So like
Yeah.
you're a gamer. You bought a device that's
Yeah, you
specific to
invested
game.
in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just thinking right now, like being a gamer is a privilege, right? Because then
Mhm.
if you think about it, like if you go, I know if I go back home to the Philippines, not all of them has the same access to gaming as we do, right? Like
Yeah.
being able to play these games and be on these communities and use the internet the way we do, it's so different compared to other places.
But
Yeah, for
that's
Yeah.
where
sure.
the rise of like mobile gaming comes from. Like not everyone
True.
can afford a PC or a PlayStation, but if you have
That's
your
so true.
phone, then you're already a gamer. You know,
That's
Yeah.
like
so true too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
I guess you can't really say like if someone's a gamer depending on how much they spend.
yeah, that's true. I
Yeah.
also think that like that's part of the reason that League has gotten so big is because it's a game that doesn't require like the best specs on your PC to
Mm,
run. Like you can have like a really like I played League of Legends on my MacBook Pro 2013
I
hard
used to
drive,
as
no
well.
SSD.
same.
It's like if I could run it on that,
Start
like
somewhere.
yeah. So I really think that that's why it gets, but it's like it gets to the point where like when you I think um when I started playing League and I started getting into it, and I'm like I need to take a break by playing another game. Then
Yeah.
that's when I became a gamer because I'm like, okay, now I was looking for other games that like match the competitiveness of
Yeah.
League. Um, but now I'm just focused on getting out of bronze, y'all, because I'm so bad at the game.
I'll carry you. You
Thank you,
main
please.
support? Do you
Yeah,
main support?
I made support. Yeah,
Okay. Do you
that's a
care
whole
if
other.
I tell you what to do?
No, I don't. I'm
Okay.
really good at listening. I play like just a side note, but I play Leona. I'm a Leona main, but I vision score is always the best in the whole entire game. I checked my stats and I actually have challenger level vision. Like you can check your stats and match it to
Damn.
like the and it's because I sacrificed gold, I sacrificed my life for wards. So
You're one of those supports.
yeah, bro, I will die for this ward. I put it here, it's staying here. So
Or would you die for your ADC?
yeah, always.
Okay,
But
cool.
but
Okay, I like you.
I'll die from my ADC, but I've learned that I can only do that if I'm dueling with the ADC. I need to stop doing that for strangers because a lot of these ADCs be running it down, and like I know I'm like we're not gonna win this fight, but I'm like
Aw.
the ADC's gone in. Let me just go in with them. Then we both die, and I knew that we shouldn't have fought, so I have to start trusting my instinct. But
So
Yeah.
I think you just need to spam ping, man. If you
yeah,
start
true.
pinging so much, like they'll actually listen to you, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, it's true.
So
So
going back to
funny.
the topic of like what's a gamer,
Yes. Yeah.
like since we after this conversation, now that I think about it, like anyone can be a gamer,
Yeah,
right? Like at the end of the day, like you can have a really shitty MacBook, and I started playing League on my MacBook back
same.
in
Yeah,
like 2018, right? Um, but I would still consider myself a gamer if I was still playing on my MacBook. You know what I mean? Like it, gaming is such. Okay, so this is gonna kind of like, this might backfire, but to some extent, uh, being a gamer is like, or being part of that gaming community is inclusive because anyone can join, but then you'd have to deal with, you know, the stigma of being a girl. But
yeah,
then as you kind of like make more friends, you realize that you're not the only girl, and that's always like a really really good feeling, right?
Mhm.
yeah,
Thank you so much, Mango and Mai, for doing this first episode with me. This is just part one, so part two is gonna come out, and you can listen to part two of this intro episode then. Bye.
bye. Thank
Yeah.
you.